This is Boston Seaport, the first location for F1 Arcade. So this came from the mastermind of Adam Breeden. He is the founder and CEO of F1 Arcade from London, UK. Adam Breeden is an international hospitality heavyweight and undisputed pioneer of what has become known as the competitive socializing or experiential hospitality.
Experiential.
So basically, he's the one that helps create all of these entertainment venues where people can go, have a fun time, enjoy themselves, drink, and get into it. I mean, he's the co-founder for Bounce, which is the home of ping pong, the co-founder of Fight Club, Darts, Putty Shack, and now F1 Arcade. There are going to be other locations that are in the making right now, but for now, let's go inside F1 Arcade here in Boston Seaport and enjoy the video. Alright, so when you do come in here, you do have to make reservations prior to coming out because they have 69 racing simulators and all of them are booked, at least on a Friday night, Saturday night, and even a Sunday night. This was a Thursday evening, or Wednesday evening actually, and it was booked. They only had a couple spots left, so keep that in mind. Get on their website, reserve your spot, make sure that you have the proper time. When you get there, make sure that you check in, right? So you get to the front desk, you check in, make sure they check you in so that your time comes up on the number, on the simulator that they're scheduled to have you on. So that's very important. When your time comes up, then what happens is the computer automatically queues itself up. It gives you a QR code. You have to type in your name, put in your information using your phone, and then when your time is really up, I think it takes about 2 minutes to basically register yourself using the QR code, and then it goes right into the race. You have 3 races to race. They're all about 8 minutes long, or maybe a little bit less. Total time out there was probably half hour, I would say. So figure about 8 minutes each race, plus the 2 minutes of QR to set yourself up, put your name in the system and all that kind of stuff. You can race with others, you can race by yourself. There's a whole bunch of different, I think there's 4 or 5 different levels. You can go in as a rookie, you can go in as a casual or elite, depending on what kind of assistance you need, whether you want that green line that's showing there that helps you basically know when to brake and when not to brake and where to actually drive your car. So that's a little helpful. Just keep that in mind. So for me, I just went casual. Just wanted to kind of play around with it, get a feel for it. It's a pretty cool experience. So when you're driving the car, you're actually in this simulator pod, basically with the steering wheel and really good pedals that are there for your braking and your acceleration, and they're very sensitive. It kind of feels like a real car. It actually does a really good job of simulating how it feels if you're inside of an actual car. Now, I don't know if it's going to be like you're in an F1 car, but it's definitely pretty accurate. The other thing to keep in mind too is the pod that you're sitting in actually moves around, so it's an active pod. So it just raises it. When you press on the brake, it actually pushes you forward a little bit, so it moves while you're actually driving and racing the car throughout the track. So it's pretty cool. If you're banking to the right, or left or whatever, you kind of feel that as you go. So it's a really neat experience. Now, I did mention earlier that this is the first of a few that are being made here in the US. So Boston Seaport is open, and that's the first one that is open, and I think it's been open in the last couple months, so it's very recent. The Washington D.C. location will be open sometime in August, September, somewhere in the fall. And also Las Vegas is the third location that's going to be open, and that'll be in 2025. They don't say when in 2025, but sometime in 2025. Another thing to keep in mind is that they do sell food there, so if you want to eat dinner there or have a snack, they have kind of appetizers, they have some regular meals. I mean, their menu is kind of limited, but they do have some items. Obviously, they sell beer and alcohol. They do have a liquor's license, but they sell food, desserts and all that kind of stuff. So keep that in mind when you're going out there. Again, they have 69 simulators. They got little like pocket rooms basically on the floor where you can kind of bring in like a group of people, whether it's from work or your friend group and stuff like that, and you can kind of reserve an area that's dedicated just for your people. And the area that I was in, it looked like it was a reserved area, but it was kind of shared. So they had tables there. They had these like few simulators there too. So it was really interesting. So it was set up in a nice way where they can kind of block that off, to the public if you did reserve that area. They do have like watch days where if there's a Formula One race going on and you want to go out there with your friends and you reserve that spot for a watch time, you can do that. So I don't know if they show them on these screens. They had larger TV screens throughout the space, and I believe that's where they show them. Maybe they set up chairs and stuff like that. I'm not quite sure. I have to look into that, but it would be a pretty cool venue to experience a Formula One race. And I gave the thumbs down because I did horribly in the third race. But this is an example of like one of the venue areas. And as they were breaking down, because it was closing as we were there, they had folding doors, between these spaces, so they can break these up a little bit. Now, obviously, you're not going to have a bar in every one of these areas, but it will be present in some locations. And at this wall right here on the right, that's where it had the foldable wall where they can kind of break off this room with that React game and everything else. And then that space could be yours if you wanted to reserve it. So it was really neat the way it was set up. It was kind of private. They have a restroom area, this area right here next to the restroom area, which is another area that's dedicated for a party. Here's another party room that was a little bit further away from the main entrance, but it was all on one floor. I didn't see multiple floors. There could have been, but I mean, for me, I just went through this area, kind of videotaped this area so you can see what it looked like. And that's the TV right there on the lower left-hand corner of the screen. So you can see that's a pretty large TV, and I think that's where they show the Formula One races. But again, it was a really fun time. It was really cool, and I definitely recommend going. I'm hoping that they get the other ones going right away so that you can experience it at your location. So if you're local to Las Vegas, Washington, D.C., I'm hoping that in the future someone opens up one in New York City. That would be pretty cool. Or maybe East Rutherford, where MetLife Stadium is. I mean, that would be more convenient for me, but I'm usually in the Boston area and the D.C. area, so I have my access if I need to, but definitely highly recommend it.